Hey, Doc John here, and I'm the Entreprofessor. So I want to talk for a minute about the one thing that entrepreneuring and professoring, actually, I'm not sure if entrepreneuring or professoring is a word, but I'm going to go with it. One thing that entrepreneuring and professoring have in common right now, and that is the need to pivot or persevere due to the COVID-19 quarantine. I first want to say this show will not be about COVID-19. That's not going to be a focus of the show, but it is the elephant in the room, and it is something that, as a professor and as an entrepreneur, as the Entreprofessor, is very much on my mind, and I'm sure it is for anyone who is either starting or trying to keep going an entrepreneurial business or trying to teach in an era of COVID where it's either very difficult to meet in person or impossible. So let's talk about it for a minute. I wrote a blog post a while back, early on in the quarantine, called "Pivot or Persevere." Still holds true. What entrepreneurs always do is iterate their process and their product and their solutions and their offerings over and over and over again, adjusting to the market. They're always asking that question: do we pivot or do we persevere? And that's been written about largely in the literature for entrepreneurship, particularly Eric Ries. The Lean Startup is a great book. Everyone should read in this space. But in any case, this pivot or persevere decision is one of the ways that we can adapt and grow and change with the environment around us. So what does that look like for an entrepreneur? Well, an entrepreneur is always dealing with changes in the market, whether it's competition, whether it's new trends, whether it's really changes in taste, those kinds of things. And the ones who are successful recognize when those are happening. They even have a scientific process to discover it, and then they're making the change. They're making that decision: do we keep going as we are, or do we pivot? Do we go in a different direction? Same thing with teaching. As I am trying to figure out the best way to bring a meaningful learning experience to those who take my classes, I'm constantly asking the question: does it make sense to keep doing what I'm doing, or should I pivot? Should I try something different? And so a lot of the just approaches that I'm taking and a lot of the tools and technology I'm using are all an experiment. And I'm following a lean startup model or a lean approach where I'm going to try to do things in a way that is easy and inexpensive, and I can get started with prototyping. And if it works, great. I'm going to keep building on that. If it doesn't, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go in a different direction. So that's a lot of what you're going to see on this channel is the experiments, and some of them are going to be an epic fail, and I'm gonna kind of figure that out and call that out and move on and go in a different direction. Some things are going to work. I'm going to share that. Hopefully it's useful to everyone. So looking forward to this journey, and stay with me.